Let's move to KZN now, where Water and Sanitation Minister Senzo Mchunu has given an undertaking to eThekwini residents to resolve water interruptions by the 15th of February. He was speaking to residents in Phoenix this afternoon following several protests across the city due to widespread water challenges. My colleague Karinda Jagmohan joins us now for an update. Karinda, tell us about the severity of the water challenges there.
Certainly, water challenges have been occurring here in Phoenix and across eThekwini for several years now, but over the last year at least, these have become prolonged and frequent interruptions. In the meeting that occurred today, residents spoke about how elderly people could not access water tanks, and in many situations, schools have been affected. I'm joined by the Voice of Phoenix spokesperson, Pastor Mervyn Governors. Thank you so much for speaking to us. Let's talk about schools, please, sir. Tell us about how schools have been affected and what's happening when children are sent home early.
Well, good afternoon to your viewers. Well, basically the challenge of 27 schools in Phoenix has reached a proportional height of disbelief, where we have schools that open up in the morning only to find that there is no water within the school premises, which affects the hygiene conditions of schools regarding toilets, wash facilities, etc. But during that period, the schools have no choice but to shut down and send the learners home because they cannot keep them, then accommodate them because of the hygiene and also because of the weather conditions where they cannot supply them with fresh drinking water. However, this poses a problem as well, because understand that many parents have lift clubs that are bringing and ferrying their kids to school every morning, and at 2:30 the ferry clubs come back and take the kids back home. Now, when this happens where schools close early, the kids are now roaming the streets or walking around the facility of the institution, such as the school, waiting for that transport to come and pick them up at 2:30. Now, during that period, it is dangerous and it is reckless for them to be around society at this day and age.
Certainly, sir, and that's just one element of the water crisis. This meeting that you had with the Water and Sanitation Minister, he's promised to resolve this issue by next week. What's your opinion about whether this can happen? He says the situation is about air valves.
Yes, on that we've been briefing the Minister since this entire week before this meeting this week, to go back and get concrete answers from eThekwini municipality, the engineers and their teams regarding the date of the 15th, because we never believed that this would happen, because we said they only spoke about air valves. But what if air valves are fitted and restored in the pipeline? What happens if residents don't receive uninterrupted water after the 15th? And I think the Minister went back and did his homework before he came to this meeting to give us a affirmation that on the 15th the water situation will be back to normality and it will be resolved. I must, however, say that I have confidence in Minister Senzo Mchunu, because I go back with him over 25 years, and he's always been a man that we can trust and rely on in terms of making sure that every check and balance has been done before he commits to the community at large.
Lastly, sir, the issue is not only occurring in Phoenix, it's citywide. Do you think it can be likened to a crisis, and do you think there should be more citizens working together?
Absolutely. Unity it's all about people coming together to share the responsibility in helping one another. But however, I must say this problem is solely at the hands of our eThekwini mayor, who's not so honorable anymore. And I think he's put his ratepayers, to a situation that has now become so bad in terms of everyone that's gone through this crisis has lost their dignity. And for people not to be able to bath and go to work or bath and go to school, that is just something that we cannot accept anymore. And we're asking the mayor politely, if he could please resign, step down. We're asking for national to get the provincial government to intervene so that they could take over eThekwini under administration and put in a competent team of engineers and technicians to make sure that this problem is resolved once and for all, because for the past 3 years, our community, the poorest of the poor, the disabled, the pensioners, cannot access the basic supply of water. Neither can they walk to tankers carrying buckets at their age and with all the illnesses they have. So this is the matter of the mayor that's caused an indictment on the people of eThekwini.
Pastor, that's interesting you say this, because last week there was a motion for the mayor to be removed. He survived that motion. So what's your view about how council is working there?
Well, I think the parties that voted in favor of having that motion set aside, they should be hanging their heads in shame to put the community, the poor, the impoverished, the sick, the elderly and the child-headed households through this situation again. And had they come to the party and if they had a heart and a conscious mind, then we would have removed the mayor in council with the full backing of all the parties that are responsible for the citizens.
Thank you very much for speaking to us. Pastor Mervyn Govender from the Voice of Phoenix. And there you have it. He says that, well, the mayor of the eThekwini municipality should resign. The mayor survived a similar motion in the eThekwini council last week. But this anger and frustration is coming after this. And many suburbs across eThekwini have experienced prolonged, frequent water interruptions. They say they've lost their dignity, having not been able to have a bath in the morning for several days. That is the situation. The gentleman likens it to a water crisis. And of course, we're going to hear more from the eThekwini municipality as another motion for the ANC-EFF coalition to be dissolved is going to be heard in council this coming week.
That's our reporter, Karinda Jagmohan. She's out in Phoenix this time, of course, as residents continue to be hampered by water challenges within that area.